Hello Orchid friends, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to look at 3 of my mini Phalaenopsis orchids that are in full water culture. If this is your first time watching my video, my channel is all about orchids, from what orchids I have, how I grow them, my thoughts on certain orchid topics, to what orchids in my collection are blooming, etc. So if you want to follow along my orchid hobby adventure, please consider subscribing to my channel and turn on the notification. And here is the order that we're going to talk about these orchids. We're going to start from the one on the left, and then the one on the right, and then in the end we'll look at the one in the middle. The one on the left was the one that I was most concerned about because at the time the root didn't look too good. Lots of root were in dark color, but now it's growing new roots, and I basically give it liquid seaweed every other week, and then every other week when it's in water I also give it some rest. And the water level that I keep it really is just allow longer roots to be in the water for just tiny little bit, without having to submerge the roots entirely. And it did create 4 secondary spikes, and one of which actually gave me one bloom. But at the end of May, I noticed that the root is already touching the bottom of inner cup. So I basically removed the inner cup and put it into the 12-ounce cup because I want the roots to continue to grow deeper into the cup. And here is the second orchid, the one on the far right. This also has similar situation. Basically, the longest root was already touching the bottom of the inner cup, so I removed the inner cup to allow more room for the roots to grow down into the 12-ounce cup. With this one, when I took it out, I let it dry for I think about 2 days before I added more water into it. And at the end of May, as you can see, it's growing its roots, elongating its roots, so I know it's doing really well. And as summer approaches, as the weather heats up, I will give it more fertilizer to help it grow more leaves and hopefully more roots as well. And here's the third orchid. This one is the most healthy one and has the best root system. The reason I took it out of the pot is because I wanted to trim off some of the dead roots. I waited on trimming these roots because I wanted to make sure that they are truly dead, and then I remove them. And plus, they never really create any problem with the water, so I waited until these roots grew out and some of the roots are actually growing into the water to remove them. And this is the finished product. I let it sit dry for about a day, and then I added more water into it. And this is just to let you see how the leaves look then. Because I was away for a week and I let it sit by the window for a week, and because it's summertime, so it got a little bit sunburned. It's not too serious, but as you can see, the newest leaf is having a little bit of discoloration, a little bit of wrinkling. It's not pest, hopefully it's not pest or any kind of infestation, but I think it's sunburn because when I was away it was really hot. It was just sunny every day, and I know that my northern facing window sometimes gets quite a bit of western sun in the evening, in the late afternoon. So learning from my mistake, for summertime you really should provide some kind of shade to give your orchids indirect sunlight, especially if you grow your orchids in the southern facing window. You really definitely want to make sure that it's in direct sunlight for the summertime, otherwise you are risking giving your orchids sunburn on the leaves. As for my care for this orchid, I keep water around pretty much every day, but occasionally I do dump out the water just to give it some rest. For example, I would have it in water during the day. When I get home, I would dump out the water, and then the next day I would then add the original water back into the cup. And this is the water level that I keep it in, usually very tiny little bit at the bottom, because its roots are long enough to reach the bottom, so I don't need to have 1/3 of the roots in water the whole time, and it seems to be getting enough water, so this is the water level that I will continue to give to this particular orchid. And finally, before I close this video, I just want to say that water orchid is a method, an interesting method that is seemingly easy, but it's actually more difficult if you don't have a whole lot of experience with water and the relationship of water and roots, between water and roots. It requires constant observation and constant adjustment, and if you're new to this orchid hobby, you may not know how to do it correctly and will encounter quite a bit of a difficulty along the way. You should still try just so you learn, but don't think that full water culture is an easy method, because in my experience it's not, and it does require a bit of trial and error to be able to really know what you're doing. Plus, every orchid is different. Okay, so this is what I have for you today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you would like to get more orchid related video from my channel, please subscribe and turn on the notification. I want to wish you happy growing, and I will talk to you in my next video. Ciao!